Hi guys, not great news on this video here. Saturday morning, one of our dogs, Aria, she is better known as Grand Champion Worldwide's Ariana. The Princess is her nickname, and she is definitely a princess, one of the sweetest dogs you ever meet. She had a little bit of stomach upset, not really wanting to eat, not really acting terribly bad, but later that afternoon we took her temperature and she wasn't real high. She was on the high end of normal, but what we noticed is that she had significant swelling in her lymph nodes. So we got a hold of our local vet because this is Saturday and they're closed, and even though they take emergencies, being a breeder, you know, the vets try and work with us. So we went with some metronidazole, and hoping that would resolve the stomach upset, and put some Rimadyl on board to combat the increasing temperature. So about an hour and a half later, the temperature's coming down, everything looks good, things seem to be heading in the right direction. So we continued that protocol overnight, and the next day, the next evening, when she was due for her what would be third dose of metronidazole, she was really not doing good. So temp had climbed up to 104. So we went ahead and took her outside, put her in the kiddie pool, and started cold hosing her while having her in the pool. And after a half hour of that, the temp went up to 104.4. So kind of really freaked me out. Why is the temperature not dropping when she's in? I mean, we're in Tennessee. I can't say it's cold water, but it's definitely colder than the air temperature. So we switched from the metronidazole to doxycycline, put her on some doxycycline, and this was probably around 9 o'clock at night we switched to the doxy, and she wasn't due for her next dose of Rimadyl until 6 o'clock in the morning. So we added the doxy, waited about an hour, temp came down to about 103, which isn't great, but it's better than 104. So we waited another, we kept an eye on her and kept taking her temperature. And around midnight, her temperature went up again. We started cold packing her lymph nodes and just couldn't get that fever under control. I mean, it was just way outside of where I'm comfortable with them being and trying to treat them at home. Our local vet wasn't able to see her until between 9 and 10 a.m. At this point, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and we decided to come to NVS, Nashville Veterinary Specialist, and see what they thought. So they took her in immediately, and I did keep the AC cranked really high on her while we were on our way here. And the good news was, upon her admission here, she was down to 102.6 with her temperature. The bad news was that all signs pointed to a diagnosis of lymphoma. So she had the very swollen lymph nodes, and the swelling had actually come into the side of her face. And if I can figure out how to do it, I'll try and put the pictures into the video. I don't know that I can. I don't know how to do this YouTube thing. But it had come into the left side of her face pretty significantly. And when they did her exam, they said that the lymph nodes in her rear legs were also affected. So they consider it like a 1 to 5 scale, and anything from the nose to the diaphragm would be a 1 to a 2.5. And if you have lymph nodes affected on the rear end of the body, even though it was minimal in her case, they considered her a 3 on the 5 scale because of that, those other lymph nodes, which have a very technical term, and I don't remember what that is. It's been a stressful few days. Today is now Monday. And so we were going to bring her home, and we're just going to do supportive care because we already had $1,800 just in the diagnostics. So Sunday, as I was pulling out of the driveway, I just had this really weird feeling like, we're doing everything we can. We don't have much money. And as much as people say breeders, you know, live off their dogs, we really don't. We've had some bad luck with some breedings lately, and it, you know, while we don't live off the dogs, it does put money back into the program and allows us to, you know, cover expenses like this. So not that we can't get our dogs treatment, but, you know, we would like to do the gold standard treatment for her. And we're not able to do that because on top of the diagnostic, the gold standard treatment, the CHOP protocol for treating lymphoma has a great success rate, 90%. And the oncologist here at Nashville is so good. He's really, really good. He's got a great team, and they helped us a lot through Stella's mammary cancer a couple years back. And so we can't afford to do that. So we had decided we were just going to bring her home and do supportive care. And as I was pulling out the driveway to go get her, I thought, you know, it's another $125 for her to stay the night. It's another $115 for the consult in the morning. So we called them and said, let's go ahead and just get the consult with oncology in the morning. So this morning around 10 o'clock, I talked to Dr. Vansel, and he confirmed that what the ER vets thought was the case is most likely. And there is a chemo protocol that is kind of the first step in chemo, and it's not too terrible. I don't know how far we can get with it. We'll have to see where the care credit cards run out, I guess. And it's $305 per treatment. The treatment is every other week for 6 weeks. It's not the gold standard treatment. They don't have 90% success rate with it, but we figured this is something that maybe we can try and do for her. She's only 7 years old, so she's not a super young dog being a Mastiff, but you know, she's also not an old dog either. So we're going to give this a try, and hopefully, with any luck, say some prayers for Aria, that this will help her to have some quality of life. We know it's not a resolution. We know there's not a cure, but I'm hoping that we can get her, you know, back healthy and happy. This came on so fast, guys. And that's what the vet said, is that it's usually going on for maybe 2 weeks before we notice it, and that those lymph nodes are where we generally notice it. And by the time we see that, it's really progressing rapidly. So without treatment and only supportive therapy, they gave her an approximate 2 weeks. So that's really, really hard news to get. Sorry. So we're going to move forward with this treatment and hope that it really works, and hope that we can continue as much of it as we can for her. Like I said, I would love to be able to do this gold standard treatment, but we just don't have $5,000. I don't have it in cash. I don't have it in credit. I don't have it in anything. So I am here. I don't think I can turn the camera around, but I'm here at the vet's, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick her up and get her medication profile, and I can update the video once we've got her home. And if you want to follow along this journey, it's terrible. Cancer sucks. No other way to put it. We don't know why it happens. It just happens. We do the best we can for them, and feed good food, and try and, you know, use less pesticides and things like that you know, they tell us happens, and then things like this come up, and you're just at a loss for answers. So I think the more of us who can document it and document what protocols we're using, we are going to, I'm trying to find CBD oil for her. I'm trying to find a company that might be willing to send us some product if we document our progress with it. And we're going to do the keto diet with her. The idea behind the keto diet is to starve the cancer cells. So getting all that in place, and we'll go from there. Hopefully things will turn around, and we'll get some quality of life for her. And either way, you guys can follow us along on this journey, and maybe we can all learn something. I mean, that's really all we can do, is try and learn from each other. And I know that not every animal or person is going to respond the same, but you know, if we can put more tricks in our bag, we know more things to try in the future. So I'm going to run in here and go get my baby, and I'll be back. Thanks.